It was August, summer of '82. You had that rusty old car, and me, I had nothing better to do. You picked me up, we hit the road, baby, me and you. We shot out of town, driving fast and hard, leaving our greasy skid marks in people's backyards. We were going nowhere, just driving around. We were going in circles, and me, I was just hanging on. Like in that Annie Dillard book, where she sees that eagle with the skull of a weasel hanging from its neck. Here's how it happened. Listen. Eagle bites the weasel. Weasel bites back. They fly up to nowhere. Weasel keeps hanging on, together forever. We were going nowhere, just driving around. You did all the talking, and me, I didn't make a sound. And if I open my mouth now, I'll fall to the ground. And if I open my mouth now, there's so much I'd say. Like I can never be honest, like I'm in it for the thrill, like I never loved anyone, and I never will. Eagle bites the weasel. Weasel bites back. They fly up to nowhere. Weasel keeps hanging on, together forever. I remember that old coat my grandma used to wear, made of weasels biting each other's tails, a vicious circle, an endless ride on the back of an old woman. Together forever. And me, I'm going in circles, just circling around. And if I open my mouth now, I'll fall to the ground. this? A little dust in my eye. Well, I'm not the type to cry. It's 4 a.m. I'm standing by the bed where you lie, sleeping the sleep of the newborn. I put my finger to your lips, warm hair. 5 a.m. You lift your hand and open it. Then you slipped away. You slipped away. Oh, death, that creep, that crooked jerk. He comes walking. He comes sneaking down that long, irreversible hallway. Grabs you in your sleep. Walk outside to the parking lot. Bright coins of water on the sidewalk. Big white building where your body lies stands in the middle of the fields. Icy air, and after all the shots, the way the heart unlocks. Slip away. We slip away. I'm thinking about the way they lost things, always come back, looking like something else. Fishing pole, a shoe, an old shirt, a lucky day. Ooh, then they slip away into the remains of the day. Ooh, they slip away, I slip away. How you taught me how to win and how to lose and how to fight the crippling blues that I was born with. Bad dreams and nightmares. Ooh, they slip away. Ooh, they slip away into the remains of the day. Sometime I'll stop looking for you, stop seeing your face every day. Bad dreams and nightmares, big bad wolves. Ooh, they slip away into the remains of the day. Ooh, they slip away into the remains of the day. To die, but I saw the way the light left your eyes, and after all the shots, the way the heart unlocks. Ooh, then you slipped away. You slipped away.
In 1978, I spent some time in California in the fall, looking for a quiet place to live. I finally found what seemed to be the perfect apartment. But the night after I moved in, I heard a tremendous pounding sound. As it turned out, I had moved in right above a Hawaiian hollow log drum school. Every other night, it was converted into a hula school with a live band of 6 Hawaiian guitars. I decided to soundproof my place, but I didn't hang the door very well, and all the sounds kept drifting in. About this time, like a lot of New Yorkers who find themselves on the West Coast, I got interested in various aspects of California's version of the occult. We would sit around at night while the Santa Ana winds howled outside and ask questions to the Ouija board. I found out a lot of information on my past 9,361 human lives on this planet. My first life was as a raccoon.
And then you were a cow. And then you were a bird. And then you were a hat.
Spelled Ouija. We said, a hat. We couldn't figure it out. Finally, we guessed that the feathers from the bird had been made into a hat. Is this true?
Yes.
Spelled Ouija.
Hat counts as half life.
And then?
Hundreds and hundreds of rabbis.
Now this is apparently my first life as a woman, which should explain quite a few things. Eventually, though, the Ouija's written words seemed to take on a personality, a kind of a voice. Finally, we began to ask the board if the Ouija would be willing to appear to us in some other form.
Forget it, forget it, forget it, forget it, forget it, forget it.
The Ouija seemed like it was about to crash. Please, please, what can we do? We were nagging it now. So you will show yourself to us in some other manifestation.
You should lurk. You should L-U-R-K. Lurk.
Now, I never really figured out how to lurk in my own place, even though it was only a rented place. But I did find myself looking over my shoulder a lot, and every sound that drifted in seemed to be a version of this phantom voice, whispering in a code that I could never crack. She said, it looks, don't you think it looks a lot like rain? He said, isn't it? Isn't it just? Isn't it just like a woman? She said, it's hard. It's just hard. It's just kind of hard to say. He said, isn't it? Isn't it just? Isn't it just like a woman? She said, it goes. That's the way it goes. It goes that way. He said, isn't it? Isn't it just like a woman? She said, it takes one. It takes one too. It takes one to know one. He said, isn't it just like a woman? She said it. She said it to know. She said it to no one. Isn't it? Isn't it just? Isn't it just like a woman? Your eyes, it's a day's work to look into them. Your eyes, it's a day's work just looking into them.
Paradise is exactly like where you are right now, only much better.
Saw this guy on the train, and he seemed to have gotten stuck in one of those abstract trances.
And he was going, and Fred said,
I think he's in some kind of pain.
I think it's a pain cry. And I said, pain cry? Then language is a virus. Language, it's a virus. Language, it's a virus.
Well, I was talking
To a friend.
and I was saying I wanted you.
And I was looking for you,
But I couldn't find you.
I couldn't find you.
And he said, hey, you talking to me? Or are you just practicing for one of those performances of yours?
Hot language, it's a virus. Language, it's a virus.
He said, I had to write that letter to your mother. And I had to tell the judge that it was you. And I had to sell the car and go to Florida because that's just my way of saying
That I love you.
had to call you at the crack of dawn and list the times that I've been wrong. That's just my way of saying that I'm sorry.
It's a job.
Sorry.
Language, it's a virus. Language, it's a virus. Paradise
It's exactly like where you are right now. Only much better.
It's a shipwreck. It's a job.
You know, I don't believe there's such a thing as TV. I mean, they just keep showing you the same pictures over and over. And when they talk, they just make sounds that more or less sync up with their lips. That's what I think.
Language, it's a virus. I dreamed there was an island that rose up from the sea, and everybody on the island was somebody from TV. And there was a beautiful view, but nobody could see, 'cause everybody on the island was saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, why? Because they all lived on an island that rose up from the sea, and everybody on the island was somebody from TV. And there was a beautiful view, but nobody could see, 'cause everybody on the island was screaming, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Paradise is exactly like where you are right now, only much, much better.
I saw a lot of trees today, and they were all made of wood. Well, they were wooden trees, and they were made entirely of wood. I came home today, and you were all on fire. Your shirt was on fire, and your hair was on fire, and flames were licking all around your feet. And I did not know what to do. And then 1,000 violins began to play. And I really did not know what to do then. So I just decided to go out and, walk the dog. I went to the movies, and I saw a dog 30 feet high. And this dog was made entirely of light. And he filled up the whole screen. And his eyes were long hallways. He had those long, echoing hallway eyes. I turned on the radio, and I heard a song by Dolly Parton. And she was singing, wow, I so bad. I feel so sad. I left my mom and I left my dad. And I just want to go home now. I just want to go back to my Tennessee mountain home now. Well, you know she's not going to go back home. And I know she's not going to go back home. And she knows she's never going to go back there. And I just want to know who's going to go and walk her dog. Her dog. Well, I feel so bad. I feel so sad. But not as bad as the night I wrote this song. Close your eyes. Okay. Now imagine you're at the most wonderful party. Okay. Delicious food. Uh-huh. Interesting people. Uh-huh. Terrific music. Uh-huh. Now open them!
How to find you, maybe by your singing, or we trail notes in the water. One white wave in all these oceans. One white wave slipping through the nets of silence under polar ice caps miles down. You leave your echoes in the water. One white wave in all these oceans. One white wave.
Okay, stand by, please. Good house out. Take one of this. Film and tape. Go. Fly Q1. Go. Slides. Go. Fly Q2. Go. Running on sending Laurie out. Running on lights Q2. Let's go Q1. Laurie, go. Lights Q2. Go. Morning follow spot. Follow spot.
A certain American religious sect has been looking at conditions of the world during the flood. According to their calculations, during the flood, the winds, tides, and currents were in an overall southeasterly direction. This would then mean that in order for Noah's Ark to have ended up on Mount Ararat here, would had to have started out several thousand miles to the west. This would then locate pre-flood civilization somewhere in the area of upstate New York and the Garden of Eden in New York City. Now, in order to get from one place to another, something must move. Now, no one in New York remembers moving, and there are no traces of biblical history in the upstate New York area. So we're led to the only available conclusion in this time warp, and that is that the Ark has simply not left yet. Now let's compare the situation to a familiar occurrence. You're driving, and it's dark, and it's raining, and you took a turn back there, but you're not really sure it was the right turn. But you took the turn anyway, and you just kept going in that direction. And eventually, it starts to get light, and you look out, and you realize you have absolutely no idea where you are. So you get out the next gas station, and you say, "Hello, excuse me, can you tell me where I am?"
You can read the signs. You've been on this road before. Do you want to go home? Do you want to go home now?
Hello, excuse me, can you tell me where I am?
In our country, this is the way we say hello. It is a diagram of movement between 2 points. It is a sweep on the dial. In our country, this is also the way we say goodbye. Say hello.
Hello, excuse me, can you tell me where I am?
In our country, this is the way we say goodbye. It is shorthand for last night. You were here, but when I woke up in the morning, you were gone. In our country, goodbye looks just like hello. Say hello.
Hello, excuse me, can you tell me where I am?
In our country, we send pictures of people speaking our sign language into outer space. We are speaking our sign language in these pictures. Do you think that they will think his arm is permanently attached in this position? Or do you think that they will read our signs? In our country, goodbye looks just like hello. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello.
In 1980, as part of a project called Word of Mouth, I was invited, along with 11 other artists, to go to Ponape, a tiny island in the middle of the Pacific. The idea was that we'd sit around talking for a few days, and then the conversations would be made into a talking record. The first night, we were all really jet-lagged. But as soon as we sat down, the organizers set up all these mics and switched on 1,000-watt light bulbs. And we tried our best to seem as intelligent as possible. Television had just come to Ponape a week before we arrived, and there was a strange excitement around the island as people crowded around the few sets. Then the day after we arrived, in a bizarre replay of the first TV show ever broadcast to Ponape, prisoners escaped from a jail, broke into the radio station, and murdered the DJ. Then they went off on a rampage through the jungle, armed with lawnmower blades. In all, 4 people were murdered in cold blood. Detectives, flown in from Guam to investigate, swarmed everywhere. At night, we stayed around in our cottages, listening out into the jungle. Finally, the local chief decided to hold a ceremony for the murder victims. The artist Marina Abramovich and I went as representatives of our group to film it. The ceremony was held in a large thatched lean-to, and most of the ceremony involved cooking beans in pits and brewing a dark drink from roots. The smell was overwhelming. Dogs careened around barking, and everybody seemed to be having a fairly good time, as funerals go. After a few hours, Marina and I were presented to the chief, who was sitting on a raised platform above the pits. We'd been told we couldn't turn our backs on the chief at any time or ever be higher than he was. So we scrambled up onto the platform with our film equipment and sort of duck-waddled up backwards to the chief. As a present, I brought one of those little Fred Flintstone cameras, the kind where the film canister is also the body of the camera, and I presented it to the chief. He seemed delighted and began to click off pictures. He wasn't advancing the film between shots, but since we were told we shouldn't speak unless spoken to, I wasn't able to inform him that he wasn't going to get 12 pictures, but only one very, very complicated one. After a couple more hours, the chief lifted his hand, and there was absolute silence. All the dogs had suddenly stopped barking. We looked around and saw the dogs. All their throats had been simultaneously cut, and their bodies, still breathing, pierced with rods, were turning on the spits. The chief insisted we join in the meal, but Marina had turned green, and I asked if we could just have ours to go. They carefully wrapped the dogs in leaves, and we carried their bodies away.
You know, it's so beautiful. It's like the 4th of July.
It's like a Christmas tree. It's like fireflies on a summer night. And I wish I could describe this to you better. But I can't talk very well right now, 'cause I've got this damn gas mask on. So I'm just gonna stick this microphone out the window. See if we can't hear a little better. Hello, California. What's the weather like out there now? And I only have one question. Did you ever really love me? Only when we danced. And it was so beautiful. It was like the 4th of July. It was like fireflies on a summer night. It's a brand new Cadillac. bright
red. Come,
here,
little
girl. Hey, haven't
I
seen
you
somewhere
before. Your despair,
in my heart. Bright
red.
your
Words,
in
my
ears.
I'll be,
With you,
I'll
be.
there,
I'll never
leave you.
Wild beasts shall rest there, and owls shall answer one another there, and the hairy ones shall dance there, and sirens in the temples of pleasure.